Doctor, we welcome you for this session and share your insight on self-belief.
Hello. Hello. How are you guys doing? Good afternoon. Everybody had lunch? Tired. I grew up with American Pie. Has anybody ever seen the movie American Pie? Hey, okay. I can be really boring, so maybe we can try to engage. Yes? Am I the only? I've seen it multiple times, so I can account for maybe 3 people. I can account for 3 people. Anybody seen American Pie? Well, that was how I grew up. I grew up with three white guys, and I was the Indian guy. I didn't really know anything about India. When I would see like an Indian guy, I'm like, dang, I wonder if his parents are strict. I wonder what his parents tell him. I wonder if they eat sambar. I wonder if they eat with their hands. And then I'll tell you guys more about it, but then I went to jail 3 times, and then I come here to India, and here, everybody's eating with their hands, they're using this with their face, and I'm talking to somebody at a restaurant, and I didn't know any better. I'm like, because who speaks Kannada here? Kannada? Okay, I'm sorry, maybe you guys might have to translate a little bit. Nanage anna beku, saar beku. The guy started laughing. First of all, he's like, is this some joke? So he started laughing. And then when we talked to a lot of people in Bangalore, when I came in 1999, around 2000, I feel that Bangalore is the same when I come back now. I want to see Badashankari 3rd stage. Everybody is going like this. Like in the US, when we're talking to somebody, we're going to say, oh, okay. I understand what you're saying, but here it's like, well, okay. I understand. I appreciate everybody allowing me to be myself, to speak here today. I want to take a moment to thank Dr. Girish, who's not here with us today. He has helped me be a better version of myself, be able to learn from you guys. Madam Principal Fazia, thank you for your support. Sister Madam Lalitha, thank you. Principal Madam Sitavi. Sitavi, okay. Like Sitavi, okay. Principal Madam Sitavi, and all you guys that are going to tolerate me today. Thank you. I tell all my patients this as a doctor. My name is Dhruva, but I have to introduce myself as an MD, but I go by my first name. And throughout the course of this visit, if I'm talking too fast, I'm too loud, I'm all over the place, just let me know. Out of all the things that I tell you today, I was talking to Madam earlier about sociology, which I'm hyper deficient in. Hyper deficient. But out of all the things that I say to you today, one of the 2 most important things about the power of self-belief is that we have to believe in our limitations. What am I not good at? How can I grow from it? If somebody tells me something, I don't want to take it in a way where I might develop resentment. Who here is familiar with the term resentment? Yes? Resentment is indignation for somebody. And I lived my life through resentment, so I have the expertise. I have resentment first approach expertise. With that said, having a growth mindset or even a beginner's mindset is what changes lives. And out of all the things that I tell you today, in terms of the power of self-belief, through the concept of mind hygiene that I've developed, is something that will help you be the best version of yourself to serve a greater purpose. Because today I'm serving a greater purpose. Look, I'm nervous, I'm scared, my hands sweat, I'm like, should I do this each and every single time? But that's the best part. If it wasn't a little scary, it wouldn't be fun. It's fun to be a little scared because then I'll go and prepare, right? I'll have notes, things of that sort, such like that. My dad abused me physically, mentally, verbally, made me hit my mom. My brother made me hit my mom, or my dad Okay. Sometimes I get a little emotional. My brother would hit my mom too because of my dad. But I've come to a point of forgiving him now. Second thing, I went to jail 3 times. Imagine, I am about to go away for the 3rd time, 17 years old. Give me like few more months, I would have been in prison. I was in a juvenile detention center. Luckily, I was under the age of 18. Luckily, I didn't commit anything violent. It was just robbery, thievery, pretty much trying to fit in. I was a wannabe gangster. I'm just a short Indian kid who had 3 white friends, who knew nothing about India, and thought every Indian dad was me. Okay? I had no idea what was going to be there for me in the future, what God would open up for me. And with that said, today I come to you as God's servant. Whatever I tell you today has nothing to do with me. I'm just serving a greater purpose as God's servant. Give me 2 more months, I would have been in prison. 3 of my friends. Friends is a very strong word. Does anybody agree with that? Anybody agree friends are a strong word? Do you guys agree that there's a difference between love and loyalty? Yes, very much, yes. Lady Gaga can come right here, right now, and say, I love you. Come backstage with me just for $300 and I'll say hi and take a picture with you. But she's not loyal, right? So the 3 friends that got murdered were loyal. That could have been me. Give me about 2 more months, I probably would have died. Alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, gambling, I did it all. Just give me 2 more months. One of my friends, so I told you, I grew up with 3 white friends, right? One of them asked my mom, if he were to die, what type of Indian ritual do I need to do? Because I was so far gone. And then, intervention. I was intervened upon. 4.5 years I've been sober. 4.5 years. 220 pounds. Was that 110 kilos? It's 110 kilos. I used to be 110 kilos. That's great, right? You can lose weight, is that right? Maintaining weight is a whole nother ballgame. Maintaining the weight loss is a whole nother ballgame. Sitting down, I'm eating like Indian food, sitting down with my family, and I'm looking at myself, I'm like, this is not it. This can't be it. I'm not gonna live my life like this anymore. I lost 60 pounds, 30 kilos about 12 years ago, and I gained 20 kilos of it back 6 years ago, blaming somebody else. And now, I'm at that 5 kilo or 5 pound mark all the time. I want to be like 5 pounds less all the time, but I'm okay, I'm comfortable. All I'm saying is that all of these things, when you come from nothing to something, they mean something. Because if you were to do something in your life and you say, okay, this is what I did and this is what I became from it, then that's different from saying, this is who I am for the rest of my life. As an example, I don't want to sit here and say, oh, okay, I did that and I'm great. What's next? What's next on the list? Well, it's this now, serving a greater purpose. That's what's next. Food stamps. Anybody familiar with food stamps? It's the American Medicaid disability, where you get money from the government if you're making less than, now I believe that it is $30,000 a year. If you're making less than $30,000 a year, you qualify for food stamps. The thing about that is you have to understand that food stamps are embarrassing. It's an embarrassment. I came from food stamps to being wealthy. That's a strong stretch. And being wealthy is one thing, but maintaining it is a whole other thing. Is that right? Maintaining it is a whole other thing. Imagine this whole time. How stressed I must have been. You think I might have been stressed? Is that a big problem? Anxiety? Depression? Yes? I can't concentrate, I can't focus. If I'm in class, I'm thinking about this. If I'm talking to that person, I'm thinking about this. If that person says this to me, imagine all of these things that are happening, nobody believed in me. Somehow, implicitly, God was like, do it or else. Do it or else. Do it or else. I don't know what else to tell you. Because when I think about it, I write to my past self. And when I struggle in life, I write to my past self. I'm like, how'd you do it? I don't know. there has to be some type of intervention. There's some reason. Because people who experience the things that I do typically don't. Survival is one thing, but the next thing is maintenance of the survival. That's the biggest thing about it, is how do you maintain it? And that's what I learned through the concept of mind hygiene. And mind hygiene is where we gain awareness, we stay present, we do it without judgment, and is based on the practice of mindfulness. I'm sorry, do you have a question? Question? Okay. I was like, that's great. You guys can ask me questions in between. You totally can. Here in the middle of this, are you guys ready for like a 5-minute mindfulness meditation? Yeah? Mindfulness is awesome, man. I like mindfulness. It saved my life. Mindfulness has saved my life. 0. Born in Juneau, immigrant parents coming from Bangalore. Tumkur, Bangalore, Juneau. Juneau, Alaska is where I was born. From then, my life was filled with domestic violence shelters. Familiar? Domestic violence, understand that, right? With my mom, adult protective services, child protective services. And what wound up happening is that my dad separated me from my mom at the age of 7, and I didn't know her until I was 33. That whole time, my mom was institutionalized. Plus, she was institutionalized for schizophrenia for 27 years. 16 years lockdown, buzz in, buzz, buzz out. You have to be buzzed in, buzzed out. 16 years, 9 years, step down. Means that you have a facility over there somewhere where there will be a psychiatrist, a family doctor that will come see you, that will give you permission to do things, whatever. At the age of 33, I took her out after I became a resident doctor. I took her out of that facility. I didn't know who she was that whole time. That's there. My brother, he was gay. He had a lot of trouble with accepting that. Imagine being in Juneau, Alaska, small town, Juneau, Alaska, as big as Tumkuru, right? Very small town. You can't get away with much there. Everybody's gonna know everything. You can't get away with much. It must have been hurting so much inside. After that, I didn't see him either at the age of 7. I went to Seattle. I got in a lot of trouble. I was bullied, made fun of in school, quite a bit. And then I decided to become a bully, and that's when I became a wannabe gangster, and that's when I started using, stealing, everything that you can imagine. And then I come here to India. I didn't know the table of elements. I didn't know that K meant potassium. I didn't know that there was a subject called trigonometry. I didn't know it existed. I didn't know how to carry a fraction. Somehow, some way, what I did was I wrote to my past self when I was 17, if I can steal that car, put all that time and effort, making sure that it's nighttime, I have 76 cents of gas money, 75 cents of gas money, and I can make it into downtown Seattle with 2 other guys, pay them off for this. I'm like, why can't I study physics? That's what I told myself. And I somehow did it. Physics, chemistry, math, biology, I got 88%, 7 scholarships into medical college. And then what happens, so, thank you. So then my dad brought me from the US. What happened was there was a time and point where my aunt was like, she took food and threw it in his face. This is the story, okay? It sounds pretty cool too. I might have put a little masala on it, but that's okay though. The story did go down like that, but you know how a story goes in society, and I was talking to the madams about sociology. This is only from my perspective. I don't understand sociology that well. But with my family being Brahmin, muddy, melge, I don't know if you guys know any of that means, and being very strict with the way you eat, taking a shower, you can't marry anybody that's not Brahmin, that too, Madhav Brahmin, everybody else is wrong, you're so grateful, you're so good to be born as a Brahmin, which actually I used to my advantage because they were like, you're the greatest person on earth. I'm like, oh, okay, well then now I believe in myself a little bit because I'm supposed to be the greatest Brahmin on earth. And they're like, you're a Brahmin, and you're a Madhava, and you're born in America. I'm like, all right, there's something going on here. We got to utilize this. So that's when you kind of find this person here and there that believes in you, right? And then you can use that as some sort of strength. And then you can separate that with loyalty, because loyalty is where Dr. Girish Raj was here the other day. He would be here. That's loyalty. He'll say I love you through a WhatsApp text, but he's not going to be here. With my aunt, there was a level of loyalty there too. And I appreciate that from a socio-personal standpoint for me, it really served me well. It really served me well. And I really think I did use it to my advantage. But nevertheless, after she threw that sambar, in his face, my dad came to the US. Imagine I'm sitting right next to this guy, took a bus to downtown Seattle. It's a hot, sunny day. I remember being in shorts, and I'm like, I'm about to go away to jail. Like, I know it's going to happen, so smoke a cigarette. My dad and my grandma show up from India. Go inside the courtroom. There's white walls, orange jumpsuit waiting for me, and my dad is looking at the judge. Son, my son, he's a thief. He's a vagabond. He's a criminal. But I will take him to India. I'll rehabilitate him. I will show him the way, judge. So what happens? He does. I come here, and what happened? I became a doctor. Let's fast forward to final year of medical college. I'm coming down the stairs. Again, it's really hot, super hot in Langley. So super hot. That's where I went to college. And each time I would step out of the shower, I would be sweating already. So I'm coming out of the shower. It's my final year paper, and it's paper 1. Who's here is familiar with the medical side? Anybody here gonna be in? What are you guys studying? What's the majority here? Economics. So what does the future look like? What are you guys gonna be? Where are you gonna be working? As an example, I'm gonna be working in a hospital. Where are you gonna be working? Where? As a teacher. Good. What is your name? Farzana. Farzana, my name is Dhruva. Nice to meet you. Yes. Yes. Okay, cool. So you're going to be in? Very good. So thank you for teaching our children in the future, because if it wasn't for you, then people like me wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't be comfortable leaving kids in school if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you. I knew it was coming, right? I knew I was going to become a doctor, so I knew it was coming. So I'm excited about doing my final year. I'm running down the stairs. I walk into the veranda. That's what it's called, right? The veranda before you head out. My dad is standing there, very calculated, very standoffish, not allowing me to leave. And he's like, Nino, hatsati failabako. That means he wanted me to fail 10 times. I was 24 years old. At that time, we repress emotions. Today, I cry every day. I cry every day today, maybe about 4 or 5 times. My mom died a year and a half ago. There's tears that come out maybe every 4 or 5 hours, which is fine. I'm okay with it. But back then, you hold these things in, and I just started crying. But somehow, I went to the test, and I passed. Let's try to understand this through the concept of mind hygiene. Would I be able to get markers here? Are there? Okay. Let's see if I can. Can we turn the projector off, please? Is that okay? Let me know if you guys can see this. Okay. Is there only one? Yeah, if I can, do you have another color perhaps? Let's see this here. Let me put this here. Can you guys hear me okay? I'll turn it back on later. What's happening right now? I am going down the stairs. I'm about to write my final year paper. You still remember this, okay? It's esophageal cancer. The final year paper 1 major question, 20 marks, is esophageal cancer. Because I'm going there and I'm like, God help me, God help me, God help me. Because I think I'm a little worried, but at the same time, my mind is so strong and I believe in myself so much, not knowing it. I don't know that I believe in myself because I'm mindless at this point, right? Let's not think about this. Let's not think about this from my perspective. Does anybody think, has this happened to anybody where somebody's family member has said something mean to them, has done something to them? Yes? Yes? Yes. It happened to me many times. And then after that, it just keeps on going, and somebody will say something to somebody, somebody will say something to somebody, and then there's masala. Masala ho gaya yaar. Full real big person. Yeah. Okay. Let's let's try to take a twist on this. Mind hygiene is a concept where we don't think, we write. Let's think about it from my dad's perspective. So we're not going to talk about him. We're not going to talk bad about him. I've forgiven my dad. Actually, I saw him for the last time 2 days ago. And I'm skadahakta. Because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here. I understand. But I've come to a point of forgiveness. And the way I did it is by understanding him. Let's try to see how we can make it all sort of something. Yeah, he's a mean guy. We'll leave it like that, okay? He's kind of a mean guy. He's always mad, right? Can you guys see that okay? Kind of, sort of? Maybe it needs to be a little bigger. This is a mean dad. Let's try to apply mind hygiene to this. Remember, we're looking at it from his perspective. Let's try to look at it from his perspective by understanding awareness. Awareness of how he feels inside and outside. How does he feel inside? I don't want to share too much with you, but the times that my mom didn't have anybody to talk to. She said that nobody's hugged her before, nobody's shown her love, so she would tell me everything through the last 7 years of her life. And she said my dad never showed her any love. You guys can interpret that how you want. My dad is gay. My brother is gay. I have a cousin that's gay. I kind of put all of those together and some of the things that he did over his life. Imagine being in a body that you can't control, and you try to control it so bad. You have these desires, and the desire could be even just telling somebody that you're gay. The first time I told somebody I'm an addict, I was free already. I was already free. When I said that one day that I'm not a good person, I was free. I freed myself. I had come to a point of acceptance. But the awareness inside for him is that he's hurting. He may not know it. Are you guys familiar with implicit? Implicit, yes. I've just recently understood that term, to be honest. Implicit is something that we don't have control over. As an example, with my dad, I was so mad at him, and I hadn't understood it, I hadn't accepted it, and I wanted to fix it and overcome it. What happens is that I'm at the corner store over there, and that person says something to me, and I blast him out. But I don't really want to, though, but then it's a resentment-first approach. It's implicit. It's in the brain. It's implicit. Implicitly, he's gay. He doesn't want to accept it. On the outside, I'm fine. Inside, he's hurting. On the outside, I'm fine. We'll just put this here. Are you guys following me okay? Am I going too fast? Talking too fast? Okay. Outside, he's okay. On the inside, he's not good. Outside, he's okay. Let's see another big thing about mind hygiene. Purpose. Here's what I'm doing on purpose. I'm taking time to understand my dad. I'm not worrying about me. Oh, poor me, he did that to me. Can you believe my dad did that? Of course, I did that for years. I wanted everybody's sympathy. To be honest, I still do sometimes. But today I have the tools, though. I have the tools. To do what? Not to fix, but to understand. I've put tools in place to understand what I am doing, not what anybody else is doing. Got that, right? Purpose. What does he do on purpose? He's standing there. He's standing there on purpose, waiting for a son that he took out of jail. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here. To tell me that. What is his intention? So my purpose here, we'll talk to you. My purpose is to go through this. His purpose and his intention. He lost $1 million. Doctors make a lot of money. I don't know if this is true, but I believe that his intention was, look, I failed. I kind of want my son to fail now. I really don't. Because some of the things that he's done for me, he took me to Disneyland one time. And why would a mean dad take you to Disneyland? I think that he was trying. Why would he buy me a skateboard? Why would he cry when I had this dermatologic problem, I had a skin rash? Why would he cry? There are things about it that I'm like, there's something that's in his head that's just not right. And that's when I come to this idea of intention. His intentions are good. I wouldn't say everybody bad is good. That's not true. Everybody good is bad. This is from my perspective. Remember, I'm coming here as a God's servant. This has nothing to do with me. This is the teachings that I've learned over time by not thinking and writing. This is my interpretation. I don't give advice. I don't tell people what to do, even as a doctor. I just tell a story. You can do what you like with it. You can forget about it now. I'll still be in what I call the clouds of emotional freedom. We have that said. Intention for him was to hurt on purpose, outside. But on the inside, his intention was to do good. My heart is like a marshmallow. If you touch it, it'll just soften up. What do you say? Compassion. Compassion is huge in the practice of mindfulness, mind over matter. I'm open-minded. Compassion. Sympathy for the misfortune of others. Compassion is defined as the sympathy for the misfortune of others. My dad had a hard upbringing. He grew up in Tungpur, small town, 4 sisters, mom, dad, very abusive. When he would get in trouble, you know where you put, like, heat the water, you heat kauli, wale, in the wale, fire? You know where you heat the water up, where you put, like, you know, like wood? I still can't get this right, even though I've practiced this speech a few times. Anyways, what he would do is he would light fire, whatever, if it was making food or whatever, and the whole thing about it was the premeditation. Like, when my dad got into trouble, he knew that it was going to happen, you know what I mean? He knew it was going to happen. Even when it happened, it was already happening. It was already happening. And he would put his head into this fire pit. And his younger sister also had this happen, and she died. And I think that the whole family watched her die. She's like 3.5 years old. And then my dad witnessed his oldest sister, which I think was 20 years older than him, get abused by her husband right here in Bangalore, in Basavangudi, and then she died. You're witnessing all of these things with a discompassionate dad. You're wrong. Everything that you're doing, you're wrong. You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. What happens is that my dad is like, okay, just like me. This is the way Indian dads are. I was like, hey man, I was talking to my 3 white friends behind me. Yo, you're Indian? Yeah, what's your name? I'm like, my name is Dhruva. That's what they call me. My name is Dhruva. What's your name? Money. I'm like, dang, your name? Yeah, is that your like your street name? The street name is Money? No, it's how do you spell your name? Mani. I was like, dang, that's a cool Indian. There's another guy I met called Pankaj. I was like, is that your slang name too? It's like, these Indian names are really cool. But anyway, when talking about my dad and compassion and some of these things that have happened, do you think, can I ask you a question, do you think that he had sympathy for the misfortune of himself? Yes or no? No. How can he have compassion for somebody else? If everybody loved themselves, wouldn't they love the world? If I hated myself, which I did, for many years, I hated who I was. And if I hated myself, how can I love somebody else? I can say I do, but I'm not going to be loyal with that. I'm only hurting myself. I'm only providing a disservice to myself. If my dad doesn't have compassion for himself, how can he have compassion for others? So now I'm understanding him a little bit more now. Now I understand that man he's standing here, and he's like, while all of these things are implicit already, it's already ingrained, it's already there, it's programmed already, he doesn't know it, he's mindless. He's not in a state of awareness. Empathy. Empathy is my favorite. These are my 2 favorite words. Thank you for asking me. Number 1 and number 2. Favorite words, besides Amma. 3. I have a few other ones probably. But top 10 favorite words, compassion and empathy, changed my life. Empathy is understanding somebody through a vicarious experience. As an example, when my dad's standing here yelling at me, he's yelling at me right now, I'm crying. I think I might have done that to somebody too. I think I might have gotten that upset at somebody where I probably made him cry. So now what I've done is I'm understanding my dad through a vicarious experience that I've experienced, because social and emotional development take place from 2 years to 6 months. And that's what guides adult relationships. So let me try to see if I can scare him enough to say that he's not going to be able to get into residency in the United States because of this, and this. Let me see if I can scare him instead of being present, having compassion for myself, empathizing with myself, having a little bit of awareness. And number one, another favorite word of mine, judgment. Judgment. In the practice of mindfulness, in the practice of mind hygiene, in the practice of mindfulness, in the practice of mind hygiene, there is nothing that's positive or negative. That means that what I'm doing here is not good anymore. Entry level mindfulness, entry level mind hygiene. I just started first year of medical college. Today I've been in practice for 22 years, so a lot of the compassion and empathy that I've learned has been because of my medical practice too. 22 years of judging everybody. They're like that. Hold up. One person has to agree, that's it. All it is one person has to agree, and that judgment just keeps on going. It just keeps on flowing. That person did that. TK. It just keeps on going and going and going like an Energizer bunny. Then a text, and then a Facebook post. Can you believe that person did that? Oh, they really did that? How can you believe in yourself if you're talking crap about anyone? If I started talking crap about myself, that's a limitation. Let me love that limitation now. Therefore, in the practice of mindfulness, I don't judge whether it's good or bad. Nothing is good or bad in the practice of mindfulness. What have we done here? We've effectively undergone mind hygiene. Let's try to understand mind hygiene through... Are you guys with me?
Yes.
How are you feeling? How are you feeling? Tired? Khana ho gaya hai na? Who speaks Hindi here? Hindi? Oh dang man, I gotta learn Hindi. मुझे हिंदी बहुत खराब है ना मुझे हिंदी नहीं आता है यार कभी खुशी कभी गम ओके ना ओके ना there was a study that was done about individuals who are depressed. Imagine being depressed. I sometimes still feel like I am, but I have the tools in place, right? I have the tools in place. The prevalence. And remember, prevalence, are you guys familiar with the term prevalence? How prevalent is something? Now, if there's 100 people in this classroom and you're asked to fill out a survey, what is the prevalence of that? Maybe 200 people, there's 200 people here, but maybe 20 people might fill it out. Well, that's not legitimate. But what the World Health Organization has understood, 12% of the world has major depression. What is major depression? It's defined mainly, as a doctor, in practice, I want to know if you're sad and you don't want to do things that you like. As an example, if you want to watch Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum, the movie. Just like that. You want to watch those movies? Yes. You want to watch those movies? Yes.
No, sir.
Yeah, well, when it comes to certain things, as watching movies, as playing games, video games, things that I like to do, that's called anhedonia. Sadness anhedonia is a patient health questionnaire that will help me understand that this patient could be depressed. And then it's losing weight, gaining weight, usually decrease or increased sleep, fatigue, decreased concentration, increased stress, intentionally not liking things, talking bad about people, not believing in myself, not believing in my limitations. So I've added all of that to the diagnostic manual that we follow as medical doctors in the United States. 12% of the world has that. The prevalence of lifetime depression, which is like kind of off and on, I'm sad, I feel like I don't want to get up, I want to sleep, I think I just want to watch TV today, I'll watch like 10 Netflix shows in a row. That lifetime prevalence is 21%. That is 2 in 10 individuals in the world. The World Health Organization estimates that $1 trillion is lost in absenteeism because of depression, anxiety, stress. $1 trillion in the world. 1 trillion. That's a lot of money. There was a study that was done comparing mindfulness-based cognitive behavioral therapy to control. That's what I typically do, right? Yeah, here you go. Let me give you some fluoxetine. Here's some Prozac, here's some Celexa. Are you guys familiar with any of these drugs? Citalopram, fluoxetine, sertraline, Prozac, antidepressants, SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. Yes, you are. What is your name? Vivianchi. Thank you, Divya. Quasia. Where's that? I'm sorry, can you say that again? Fazana. Fazana and Divya. Thank you for being involved. Yes. Mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, 2 controls. The most important thing is statistical medicine is a 2-year course. It's very hard to understand statistics. It's very difficult to understand statistics. A meta-analysis is where we take multiple trials, and they took 9 randomized control trials. Randomized control trials are the highest quality. And they followed individuals for 60 weeks who were in the mindfulness-based cognitive therapy to the treatment arm, which is the drugs, right? The antidepressants and all of that. And what they found is that the individuals in the mindfulness-based cognitive behavioral therapy arm had a 38% success rate for major depression, what I talked about, the sadness and all of that stuff in the initial stages, which is 2 weeks. 38% versus 49% in the treatment arm. That means if I give you a drug to fix, then it's about 49% chance that you're going to succeed in 60 weeks. However, if you were to do mindfulness, awareness, compassion, empathy, no judgment, cognitive, what am I thinking? Am I thinking this? Let me change the behavior then. I'm thinking this, I'm going to change the behavior. What am I going to do? Jyoti Nivas College wasn't built in a day. Did they think about it? I have this emotion, let me just think about it. Let's see what happens. No, they took time to write a blueprint, and then they made a foundation, and then Jyoti Nivas College is here, and I'm blessed to be able to stand here as God's servant today. But nobody thought about it though. We have to write. That's what mind hygiene is. We write. Mindfulness-based cognitive, let's change the behavior, therapy. Mindfulness-based cognitive therapy also shows that the lifetime prevalence of those that have depression off and on, which I still accept, not deal with. I don't cope with depression. I don't overcome depression. I accept it for what it is, and I love it. And I'm here today telling you that I'm not perfect, and that whatever I'm doing is only working for me. But it might work for you. It might work for you. You guys want to stand up and do a meditation? Yes? Who here is ready to stand up for a second? Even me too. I'm ready to meditate and just not talk for a second. Or maybe a little bit. Yes? Can we stand up? Krupa, can you come over here, please? We can stand up. Are you guys ready to do a mindfulness meditation? Something that I do in the morning. Just a simple guided meditation. But first, anybody here want to believe in themselves? The power of self-belief. Who wants to believe in themselves? And if you do, you can accomplish. Can we come back here? If we do, we can accomplish anything we want to in this life, right? If we believe in ourselves. Remember, if I can do it, you can too. My friends would call me the dumb doctor. If I can be a dumb doctor, I can do this too. Yes, power of self-belief. Thank you. Thank you. The power of self-belief. Let's try to sit here and imagine. I've imagined this day. Do you understand? I'm not here confused. I've already imagined this day. Sitting here, standing here, wearing this, looking at people, talking fast, having fun. I'm all sweating a little bit, scared. I have imagined all of it already. If I can ask you to take one moment to imagine a time you might need to forgive somebody, imagine how it must feel to have forgiven that person and not forgot. In Mind Hygiene, we don't forgive and forget. Never forgive and forget. Please don't do that. We forgive and understand, empathize, and have compassion for it and love. Can we just close our eyes for a second and imagine us being in a place where we're free of this resentment of something that my dad did to me. I'm standing here crying, about to go to my final year exam. If you can relate to a situation like that, just imagine for maybe a moment how it must feel to not feel like that. And then we'll do a guided meditation after. How does it feel? Have you guys felt it? Okay, good. Well, what I'm going to ask you to do is keep that in mind, and maybe what I can ask you to engage in is just to take 9 breaths. And during those 9 breaths, I would like for you to feel how it would feel to take that breath at that moment, and let the air course through your body as if you haven't let go of it, you haven't gotten past it, that you've accepted and loved it. What I'm going to ask you to do is take a breath, feel it through your shoulders, feel it in your hair, your eyes, and then breathe down to your feet. Let me show you what I mean. So I'll take a breath up to my hair, my eyes, and breathe down to my diaphragm, to my feet. And let me imagine how it must feel to be in that place. We'll do 9 breaths. Go 1. 2. 'Just be curious about how it feels to breathe and where it goes. There's nothing to manage, master. Just to be grateful and curious. Taking a deep breath in through the shoulders, eyes, and then breathing it out through the feet. 6. 7. 8. And 9. Good. You guys want to have a seat? How did that feel? Did it feel good? It's great to be present, because then you're not future tripping. Okay, so we have this in place. Let's say that we've understood this one situation like this. How about this? Can somebody write this down? Would you like to write this down? You want to empower yourself, right? Would you guys like to write this down on your phone, perhaps? I want to believe in yourself. But we're going to start believing in our limitations, which is going to make us more powerful. Empower ACEs. ACES. ACE is accept. Let me accept this process. Let me care about. Can you see this okay? I know I've gotten feedback in the past about that I'm covering the board. That feel like I'm covering the board? Okay, good. Care about. Care about means love. Remember, we talked about loving the process, right? Care about. E is embrace. I don't want to. This is my intelligence. Have you guys ever heard Sadhguru talk? Sadhguru? Yes. Sadhguru. Why would you play with your intelligence? Hello? It is your intelligence. Don't let your intelligence play with you. This is your intelligence. This is who you are. This is who I am. Let's not talk about you. From a sociologic standpoint, I don't understand this too well, but this is who I am. Who I am is somebody who wants to embrace it. I don't want to let my intelligence, because this is a part of me, I don't want to let it work against me. So I'm going to embrace the process. Here are some key words here. You might want to write these down. Can't, won't, and don't. Bad words. Thank God. Thank you, God. I don't curse anymore. Thank you. How harmful is that to me? Thank you. I don't curse anymore. But I want to soften the process. The bad words I have today are can't, won't, and don't. I can't do this. It's too hard. I won't do this. It's too long. I don't want to do this. It's too hard. Those are limitations. It's very hard to believe in yourself if there are limitations involved. The limitations is what I'm not good at. What is it that I'm not good at? That's what I want to know. Because if I can master what I'm not good at, here we go. Where are the doors at? As Sadhguru says this. For those that want to seek out opportunities, they will find them, but some will succeed and some won't. Those that really seek out opportunities that deserve them will succeed. And then there's people like me. For those that need to do a bigger service, the doors will open for them. Hello? Sadhguru, hello? So therefore, we need to soften this process. Don't make it hard. It's who you are, right? There's nothing that's hard. It's long. It's not soft. I just completed my 10 years recertification American Board of Family Physician exam. I had a great time. I'm a doctor. I came from this environment. This is a great day. I get to make a lot of money. I get to serve. I get to serve God. I get to serve. I get to bless others. This is great. I see 22 patients a day. I have a great time. It's not hard. It's just what's happening at that point of time. Disregard faces. Empower aces. Disregard faces. Disregard F, fix. A, F is fix. In my emotional mind, there's nothing to fix. I do not want to fix an emotion. I don't want to fix it. I want to accept it for what it is. Like Sadhguru says, it's your intelligence. Why would you want to fix your intelligence? A is anger. Anger is if I don't overcome. How can I overcome stress? How can I overcome depression? It's not served me well. It hasn't served me well. How do I cope with? What are coping strategies? How do I deal with? How do I control? There's C. How do I control? In my emotional mind, when I'm in the clouds of emotional freedom, I don't cope, deal with, or control anything. It's who I am. Why would I want to control who I am? The times that my dad tried to control that he was gay, he deflected his fears on others. There we go. He deflected his own fears. He was a millionaire and he filed bankruptcy twice. That's hard. That must be hard for him. It must have been hard for him. He thought it was hard. I don't think that he knew he was doing that. And me crying, I don't think he knew he was doing anything wrong. He just had deflected his own fears because he was trying to cope, deal with, control that he was gay. Instead of that, what if he accepted, loved, and embraced that he was gay? Now we're working with something. Erase. There's nothing to erase when it comes to emotions, because if you do, you start doing drugs like I did. I tried to block it out. I remember one time when I was using that, I started crying. I'm like, man, did some of this stuff happen? Because I'm a rapper, and this is what really got me to be here, because my rap music has taught me these things. I would say these things in rap music for years. I'm like, why am I saying these things? Does somebody have a question? Somebody say something? No? Okay. Yes. Erasing and blocking out is a very difficult task. It has been for me. I wouldn't erase or block anything out. And then soften. Again, this process shouldn't be hard. We should not place that limitation on ourselves. Because if I want to believe in myself, yes, I was broke, I'm wealthy. Yes, I was overweight, and now I'm in good shape. Yes. I used to use drugs, and now I'm sober. 4.5 years. Yes. I went to jail and I got scholarships in the medical school. Yes. Do I believe in myself? Yes. But what did I not believe in? I didn't forgive my dad. I didn't believe in that limitation. Now I'm powerful. Now I can believe in myself. I didn't want to be present. Where's the next day? I wasn't present. I had no purpose in life. I didn't take purpose. I didn't take time to do this. I didn't do it with intention. If I did do this intention, I hope everybody here at Jyoti Nivas College likes me. That was my intention before. Make sense? I wanted everyone to like me. But when I believed in all of these limitations, that's when I could believe in myself. But when my dad said, "Had sati faila," who failed 10 times, thus baad fail ho gaya. Is that right? I don't know how I know those things. Might be Hindi movies. Yes. When he said those things, now I've come to a point where I can grant myself emotional freedom. That is believing in what I'm good at. Yes, I can do all of these things. What am I not good at? Now I believe in that. Number 2 is communication. I want to communicate with myself. Therefore, I won't have resentments towards myself, so I won't hate myself. Because I would say I'm stupid, I'm dumb, why are all these doctors smart? Why do I get bad patient scores, but I don't talk bad about patients? Why is it that people think that I'm stupid? Now, what I've done is I've communicated that with myself. Who cares what I do with that? Remember, there's nothing to fix, nothing to overcome, nothing to deal with. I just want to accept all of this. I want to love the whole process. There's nothing there. I don't want to say that that this is a bad thing that I'm saying this. Because when I said I hated myself, when I said I was an addict, when I said I was stupid, that's the best thing I could have done for myself. Because now I understand that there's something going on here. Who am I to even talk about this? Cognitive behavioral therapy, dialectical behavioral therapy, eye movement desensitization reprocessing therapy, rational emotive behavioral therapy, metacognitive behavioral therapy. 6 years, 2 times, 3 times a month. I've been going for 6 years. 2 to 3 times a month. But going to therapy is not what made me successful. Mind hygiene, writing it down. We can't think our emotions. Jyoti Nivas College wasn't thought up. They had to write it down. And over again, multiple iterations. You know, this took me about 4 or 5 years to come to this blueprint that I have for myself. And I kept on writing it over and over and over again until I'm like, oh, okay, so this is what's up. This is who I am. Now I have compassion for myself. I'm in the clouds of emotional freedom. My dad went through something hard. I did too. Now I have empathy for myself. Now I can forgive others. Now I can show empathy to others. If somebody says something bad to me, I'm like, man, that has nothing to do with me. But I can confidently say that too because I've taken time to understand it. I've taken time to forgive myself for some of the things that I've done because of what my dad did. I can forgive him. The most important thing here is I don't judge. Nothing is good or bad. If somebody does something I used to perceive as bad, that's not bad anymore. It's not good either. I don't want to judge the process because judgment is hard. And when it comes to my family, that's all they did. I'm Brahmin, I'm the best, everybody else is the worst. Don't even marry a Lingayat, Smartha or Iyengar. I don't know if you guys know all of those things. Don't marry anybody but a Madhva Brahmin. That's the only one we pick. And if you don't, you're not going to go to heaven. You have to understand, I'm going to the temple all the time. I'm like, please do this. I mean, I was scared, you know? But today what I've done is I believe in that limitation and I understand that this is a point in time where I can come to love myself. And with that said, we're done with time, right? Good, okay. I want to make sure that, I hope that some of these things that we talked about, the problems would be stress, anxiety, that I've provided some sort of a solution. What I would encourage everybody to do with 2 things is if you want to believe in yourself, it's good. You're already here. You're like 1% of the world that has college education. It's so rare. It's so rare. You already believe in yourself. You already believe in yourself. Other people believed in you. Your parents sent you here. You know, Madam believes in you. You know, they're here to serve and support you. But what if you can manage to believe in what you may not be good at? It's over. It's game over. And if you can grow from it, as an example, if all of you guys were to tell me something here maybe you could have done that, I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds pretty cool. Maybe I could try that. Because I believe in myself. I already believe in myself. So if somebody says something to me, it's not going to hurt me. It's how I interpret that. And that's what allows me to be in the clouds of emotional freedom, where I don't have resentment, where I don't talk bad about anybody. I don't say anything bad about anybody. It only harms me. I don't talk crap behind people's back. The last thing I want to do is for me to talk crap and somebody to agree with me. My aunt, Madhava Brahman, Sikthara pa, Eladira. Hauda, yen manavaro, yen martara, jameen idya. These are the things that they would ask me. Therefore, I've understood them. I've empathized with my family because their parents were like that too. And with that said, with the 2 things is to believe in yourself and just write it down. Please write everything down. And the more you write it down, the more you get used to it. This is something that I have to do this every day. And it only takes about 5-10 minutes. The next thing here is that I've resigned from my job. And I'm going to start doing this full time. And what I would appreciate for everybody to do is if you can take a few moments here just to give me some feedback, 30 seconds, to do a video review to say, hey, look, this guy came in here, and this is what I took from his talk, and this is how I feel. That would be great, because I want to donate 10% of everything I make into mental health awareness. Also, what I want to do is I want to develop, me and 2 others are in talks to develop mind health awareness, which is based on mindfulness and not fixing. Because mental health awareness would be, what are we going to treat? Even though I'm a doctor, I don't treat. I understand. And that's where mind health awareness comes in. You can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram. And if you guys have any feedback, you can direct message me, DM me. I go by Dhruva Gulur on Instagram, and you can find me on DhruvaMD.com. That's DHRUVAMD.com. Counting it like I don't know my name. But yes, no, I appreciate this. I have a flight back home tonight at 11. I have a flight at 11, but I have to be at the airport at 7. But this is awesome. I love doing this. This is great. Thank you for allowing me to serve, to bless. I'm grateful for the country that has served and blessed me for 9 years when I was living here, and I'm very grateful, unbelievable that I will be standing here telling you guys this. Unbelievable. I'm very blessed. Thank you.
You can take one video.
Oh, yes, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
sir.
I wanted to see if you guys have questions. Yes. Any questions? At least a couple.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes. You have a question? Looking right at you. But don't look at me. I don't have any questions. Does anybody have any questions? Just one? You do? I have a question. Can you ask me a question? One question over here. Yes, you have a question. What is your name?
Suparna.
Suparna?
Parna.
Parna? My name is Dhruva. Parna, yes.
Sometimes.
Can I give you this?
No. Sometimes, maybe we are confident some days and all, but still after something happens and we just lost every mind control and everything. So how to deal with those situations?
I'm aware, I'm loving the process, I'm accepting it, I'm embracing it. This is my meditation right now. You guys are allowing me to meditate for free. The meditations that I would do is I would do a purposeful meditation in the morning. As an example, when I wake up in the morning, I don't brush my teeth, I don't take a shower right away, I don't drink coffee. I sit down and I'm like, what is it that I don't like today about myself? Do I need to forgive somebody? Do I need to show compassion to somebody? Do I need to show compassion to myself? What is it that I'm trying to fix? That's my meditation. But also what I do is I do self-guided meditations too to ground me. There's times that I'll do a meditation. My patient, there's a patient of mine who had recently her toes amputated because of arterial venous insufficiency. And thank God that my feet are there. Thank God I don't have a deep vein thrombosis. Thank God that I don't have knee problems, etc. My chest is not open. I've never had a cardiac surgery. Those are meditations that I do to understand and to be grateful. But I think meditations can come in various forms. I don't think there's a right or wrong way to meditate personally. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Anybody else?
Hi. So when you said we throw compassion and empathy to understand the other person, doesn't that at some point lead to degradation of our mental health? Because how much can we be understanding? Because our cup might get empty too late.
That's a great question too. And that's kind of stumping me as well. Because that's something I may need to learn. But that's where also awareness comes in. That's where self-awareness comes in. As an example, with my dad, I need to be empathetic towards him, but I think I've been overly empathetic too. Yeah, as an example with the knees, there was a 42-year-old female who I'd sent to get knee surgery because she was running too much. So running is healthy, right? You would consider that healthy? Run, knee, pain, surgeon, copay. What happens is that she was running too much. She thought it was healthy. It's all about a balance that I think that you can find.
How do you
That-
find that balance?
You have to just keep on writing. Yeah, a lot of the things that I tell you, you have to figure out for yourself. Like you have to see what works for you. As an example, when I was in residency in family medicine for 3 years, they just provided guidelines. I just practiced based on the guidelines how I feel. Like I practice anecdotal medicine to do that. So I just kind of figured it out myself. It's about you taking the time to write, and to understand where the line is. Because being over empathetic is probably not good either. So I agree with you on that. Anybody else? Yes? We have time, Adam? We're good? Okay. All right, thank you, everybody. If you have questions for me, you can ask. Please stay back for a few video reviews. I fly out in 5 hours, so thank you.
Yes, students. Before we proceed to the vote of thanks, I want to say